Hey, man. Shabbat shalom. How was the your parents' house? Oh. Yeah, yeah. When did you get back? Oh, okay. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Sharon got this one as a wedding. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. I love it too. Thank you for the compliment.
Attention!
Oh yeah, very good week. It's been great. I'm really enjoying my time. Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. Oh, I trust you. What? May I take one? Yes. But although you want to go over? Yeah, just to make sure that which version we're grabbing the other. Oh, the other one? Okay, I printed one for you in. Okay, great. I had a feeling you might. Okay. I don't know why, like anyone else. So, which year did Nefesh is that? Oh, so this is D minor. Or E minor? Because this is D major. Oh, yeah, I didn't see it. E minor, okay. Okay. איך הוא נראה נהנה? Let's do the left one. That's a lot. Which year Ladana you want to do? So that's in G major. Oh no, E major. Okay. Or Zamura Adonai. Which Zamura Adonai you want to do? Okay. Okay. How does he? Yeah. Okay. More cheers to the Shalom Aleichem, Kiddush, B'Shem Hashem. So Shema, you said it was EA, right?
Here we go.
Yes, I do. I know, I do.
Oh, that's loud. That's loud.
Yeah, I'm glad you are. You enjoying the meeting? Very much so. I had a
Okay.
So let's get this show on the road. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Thank you. I saw you today that you sent a note to sign up for the
Start in E minor. You need Nefesh. Oh. Yeah, I don't have my binder clips. No binder clip. No binder clips. Yedi nefesh av harachaman meshoch avdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo ayan ishtachaveh el Hadorecha yerav lo yedidutecha minofetzu vechol back on the rooftop. The weather is beautiful, the sky is clear. The heat of the summer sun has fallen behind the school building and we are cool. Which is great, because this week's Torah portion is a very cool one. One with talking donkeys and other interesting things. And so, as we begin Shabbat, we celebrate moments of simcha. Linda is lighting candles for us on the occasion of her birthday and wedding anniversary. So, I'm going to turn the mic over to her and to the rabbi, or a mic, as we turn to page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Thank you. How many years married, Linda?
22.
22. That's amazing. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
We continue on page 12. Lechu neranena. Lechu neranena. Lechu neranena. Lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena. Lechu neranena. Lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu. Nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzur yishenu. Bizmiro naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Shirul Adonai, shir chadash, shirul Adonai kol haaretz. Shirul Adonai, baruchu shemo, basu miyom liyom yeshuato, sapru v'goyim kevodo, v'chol ha'amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai, u'mehulal me'od, norahu, al kol Elohim, lai lai lai, ki kol Elohei ha'amim elilim, Adonai shamayim asa, od behadar lefanav, oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai lai lai, ya lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz, yismechu hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umlo. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, umlo. Ya Allah sare v'chol asher bo, az yaranenu kol hatzeyar, lifnei Adonai kiva, kiva lishpot haaretz, yishpot tevel betzedek, v'yamim be'emunato.
Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. Page 14.
Adonai malach tegel haaretz, בארץ ישמחו עם רבים, ענן ורב בין סביבה צדק ומשפט מכון כיסו. אוהבי אדוני שנאו רע, שומר נפשות חסידיו, מיד רשעים יצילם. Last paragraph on 14. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לב שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לב שמחה. שמחו צדיקים באדוני באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו לזכר קודשו. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לב שמחה. אור זרוע לצדיק וישרה לב שמחה.
Page 16. Sing praise to Adonai with the lyre and melodious song. With trumpets and the blast of the horn, raise a shout before Adonai, the ruler.
Zamru l'Adonai bechino bechino vekozimra. Zamru l'Adonai bechino bechino וכל זמרה. זמרו לאדוני בכינור בכינור וכל זמרה. זמרו לאדוני בכינור בכינור וכל זמרה. וחצוצרות וקול שופר הריעו לפני המלך אדוני. ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושביה, נחרות ימחה וכף, יחד הרים ירננו לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ. ישפוט תבל בצדק וימים במישרים.
Page 17 together. Adonai enthroned on cherubim is sovereign. Peoples tremble, the earth quakes. Adonai is great in Zion and exalted above all peoples. They praise your name as great and awesome. God is holy, mighty ruler who loves justice. It was you who established equity, you who worked righteous judgment in Jacob. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down to God's footstool. God is holy. Exalt Adonai our God and bow toward God's holy hill, for Adonai our God is holy. Page 20.
לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד ישמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמול תפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה verse 2 לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה verse 5 התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שתדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה
If you are able and comfortable, please rise.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא קלה יללה 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 בני שבת נקבלה
Page 22.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון צדיקת המר יפרח כארז בלבנון ישגה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון ושיבה דשנים ורעננים להגיד כי ישר אדוני
bottom of page 25. Together. And so we understand that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They go about their tasks in holy anonymity, often even unknown to themselves. Yet if they had not been there, if they had not said what they said or did what they did, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you too yourself may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over several lifetimes.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchoni L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitechem L'Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence of God. On the opposite page.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה,
אמן.
ועלמא יברח ירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגאלה בגאלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלמא לעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויבר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמא, ואמרו Amen. Lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 ya lai lai lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Baruch Adonai.
Page 30. Together in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night. rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הערבי.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, אמרת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. נא לשבת.
I will invite you to please close your books. Oh, the suspense. Before the Shema, the suspense. Please be seated. I know it's uncomfortable, I think, for some people to sit before the Shema. But just wait. I'll ask you to stand. So this is my first time out here in the Rudin Garden for Shabbat services, and such a beautiful night and a beautiful setting for prayer. And I think this is the perfect setting in which to tell the story of a talking donkey. Cantor talked about that a little earlier. That's our parasha for the week. It's about a talking donkey. It's a little like the Torah's version of Shrek, I think. So here's the story in a nutshell. A wicked king named Balak, he's the namesake of the parasha. King Balak is irritated that the Israelites are planning to traipse through his territory on their way to the promised land. So Balak decides to hire this guy, whose name is Bilam. Now Bilam is a freelance prophet. In those days you could do that. I think that was a career, maybe. You could be a freelance prophet and hire out yourself, for people who needed prophets. So King Balak hires Bilam, this guy, to be his prophet, his freelance prophet. And he asks Bilam to curse the Israelites, put a curse on them, so that maybe they'll turn back, or maybe they'll change their route and not come through his country on their way. Now, Bilam takes the job, and he tries, but try as he might, he's simply unable to curse the Israelites. He tries, but every time he opens his mouth for curse, blessing comes out. I think you probably know the story. God just wouldn't let him curse Israel. Every time he tries, his plot is foiled. Now, one time, he's kind of on his way to give it another shot, and he's riding his donkey. And the donkey, who seems to have been in on God's plan to prevent Bilam from doing his job, the donkey tries to run Bilam off the road into a ditch. And Bilam gets really angry, and he takes his stick, and he starts hitting the donkey. This is not nice to animals in the Torah. He starts hitting the donkey, get it back on the road, get back on the road. And the donkey responds to Balaam doing this, not by braying or whimpering, but actually by speaking. And so we have this really crazy story in the Torah where a donkey is speaking to the guy riding her. So she's like, what's the deal, bro? I mean, why are you hitting me? Again and again. Stop it. And the conversation goes on from there, and it's extended, that conversation between a man and his donkey. Now, if you're wondering why in the world the Torah has a story about a talking donkey, well, you are not alone. So the sages of our tradition, they wondered the same thing. And here's how they explain it. So we know that when God created the world, God made animals on the sixth day. That's the story of creation. God made animals on the sixth day right before making human beings. And we know that the key thing distinguishing animals from human beings is that human beings can speak and animals cannot. That is the way of nature. But here in this story in the Torah, the donkey talks. So, obviously, God must have made this donkey too. And this donkey represents a supernatural anomaly. Supernatural meaning something that defies the normal ways of the world. And speaking of supernatural things, you might remember that just 2 weeks ago we read about the earth opening up and swallowing the guy, who challenged Moses' leadership, Korach and all of his buddies. The earth just opens up and swallows them. And then last week we read about Miriam. She died in the wilderness, but up until she died, our tradition says that there was a well with water that traveled through the desert with her and gave water to the people. So we've got a lot of supernatural things here in the desert. And the sages are wondering, well, during the 6 days of creation, God made all of nature, and nature follows certain rules. And one of those rules is that donkeys don't talk. But if God made this donkey too, one that talks, how did that happen? And when did that happen? We don't read about that in the creation story. And here the rabbis give what I think is one of their very coolest teachings in all of rabbinic literature. They say, and I know David knows this teaching because he brought it up the other day at Torah study, that God created the donkey and the mouth of the earth that swallowed Korach and the traveling well, these 3 and 7 other supernatural things. God created them after the 6th and final day of creation, but before the 7th day, the first Shabbat, began. After the end of the 6th day, but before the beginning of the 7th day. It is what we call a liminal moment. The slice of time after the end of the day, but before the onset of evening. We're actually almost there right now. The sages call it Bein Hashmashot, which means literally between the lights. Or, shorthand, the term we know, twilight, between the lights. And Bein Hashmashot, twilight, they say, is as quick as the blink of an eye. So quick it is barely perceptible at all. I think this is a profound and deep spiritual teaching. It means that in that tiny slice of time, as quick as the blink of an eye, God fashioned a whole other layer of reality with a capital R. A layer that holds elements of life that defy the normal rules and defy the patterns and expectations that we have based on logic and intellect and empirical data. Aspects of life we simply cannot understand. In a word, It's this layer of reality where mystery dwells. And we're not accustomed to thinking this way. We live in an age and a culture that is intensely scientific and rational. To us, reality is the sum total of what we can see and touch and demonstrate, no more and no less. If we can't prove it, well, then we decide it doesn't exist. It's just not real. But Judaism doesn't think that way. From the sages of the Talmud to the Kabbalists of Spain and Sfat, to the Hasidim and the modern mystical philosophers like Heschel, our tradition teaches that reality is much, much bigger than what we can perceive with our eyes and demonstrate with our rational proofs. Some say that angels are all around us all the time. Some say we are just a tiny part of a grand cosmic drama unfolding across time and space and dimensions we can't even begin to fathom. Some say the world and everything in it are mirrored in a heavenly realm that exists parallel to our own, and that everything we do here has ramifications in that realm too. But we miss it. We miss all of it. Not because it isn't real, but because we are oblivious to all but the little piece of reality we can see and prove. We mistakenly think we can know about reality, and if we don't yet know it, we're pretty confident we will one day. But in truth, no matter how much our finite minds discover about the cosmos, all we can see, all we will ever see, is a very narrow piece of the puzzle, as though we're looking at it through a keyhole in a door. In our hyper-rational world, we have lost our sense of mystery. To live a spiritual life, I think, is to reclaim our sense of awe and to marvel at the inexplicability of existence. To be spiritual is to embrace the possibility that even though there are certain things we can't see or prove, they might still be real. It's to choose to believe, against all evidence to the contrary, that the seemingly impossible is somehow possible, which to me is the definition of faith. To live spiritually is to accept that there are and always will be things about life and about the world that we cannot understand. And in the words of my former colleague, Rabbi Karen Kadar, to surrender to that mystery. And once we do that, well, paradoxically, I believe the world will open up to us in entirely new ways. And we will experience majesty and divinity all around us like we never have before. And where we once ached with pain over our inability to understand, we will be filled with reverence and wonder. And our spirit will be comforted by the knowledge that as finite human beings, some things are beyond our ability to know and to control. And there's freedom in that, and peace. And we will know that in the face of mystery, God has our back. The mystery was created at twilight, a slice of time that passes as quickly as the blink of an eye. If we don't consciously search for it, we'll miss it. That's why the rabbis gave us a halakha to follow in that liminal moment after Friday ends, but before Shabbat begins. And that halakha is this. They said, it's precisely at that moment, Bein Hashmashot, twilight, that we're supposed to say the evening Shema. That's why I made you wait. So think about that. In that magic moment when mystery was created, we say the Shema. Why? Because in the face of mystery, whether it inspires us to new heights or it knocks us down so hard we can barely move, all we can do is surrender to it and proclaim the reality of the one God. And so I invite you to please rise.
Listen, Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Try with me. Listen, Israel, Adonai, Adonai, our God is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevo Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם.
Together on page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Marching together. Page 40. Lie, 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 lie. מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נהורה תהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים זה לי אנו ואמרו זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי בד אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 43. At the top together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will.
Ashkifenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechayim Ashkifenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechayim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Aporei Sukat Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim.
On the next page.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם שמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. That was right after the Bein Hashem Hashot. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Page 50. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחייך כל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עבר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Free to continue your private meditations at your own pace, or join us for the evening prayer for peace on page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל
We pray now for loved ones, friends, family members, members of our community who are ill and in need of God's healing and God's peace. If you're praying for someone this evening and you'd like to share their name, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Arlene. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, Howard. Thanks, Roberta. Thank you. Thank you, Phil. Thanks, Elaine. May God be with all of them and bring them a speedy renewal of body and spirit. Page 253.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please rise. Page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We remember now our loved ones whom death has taken from this world. If you are comfortable and able to do so, I invite you to rise as you hear the name of your loved one read. This week we are in Shiva, the first 7 days of mourning for Howard Titel. And we are in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Arlene Schneider and Sarah Wolin. We recall the yard sites of Charles Abelson, Edith Cohen, Fanny Feldman, Irving Feldman, Ida Goldstein, Martin Goodman, Clifford Owen Still, Etta Siegel, and Dennis McEnany. If you're remembering someone whose name was not read and you'd like to share it with us, I invite you to do so now. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, David. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. We rise now as one community and join together on page 294 to say Kaddish. Yitzgadal v'yitzgadash shemei rabah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shemei rabba mevorach le'alam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
May the one who makes harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. May their memories be for a blessing. And we say together,
Amen.
Please be seated. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
All right. So let's see. We've got some great announcements, but first I want to say thank you, Yasher Koach, to Cantor Adam and to Shai for the beautiful music. Thank you to our Temple Beth-El team, Stu and Jason Black and Joy P. and everybody in the Temple office who helps to organize the evening and put it together for us. Let's see. Thank you to the Margaloff family for the challah and the Oneg Bakers. And when I say your name, I would like to ask you to please stand so that we can recognize you for your incredible baking. So here we go. Roberta Lulov. Linda Diamond. Sharon Freeman. Debbie Sutton. Cheryl Silverstein. Donna G., also known as Donna Ganser. And Maria Margaloff. So, I have a feeling that there are other bakers in this congregation who know their way around the kitchen. And if that's the case, we'd like to invite you to join our distinguished group of Oneg bakers whenever you can. To do that, please call the main office and ask for Joy P., and she can hook you up into the crew.
Joy P won't help you with the baking part. If you don't know how to bake yet, that's
right.
But feel
But
free
you
to
just
use
tell
this as a
Joy
lab.
P. what you want to bake, and she will sign you up. All right, let's see what else we have here. This Sunday, we have a really exciting early childhood brunch and play. So I think some of you have grandchildren, maybe, in the Early Childhood Center. Even if you don't, if you have little kids in your life, bring them. It'll be very fun. It's Sunday morning here at the Temple Beth-El Playground from 9:30 to 11:30. And that's going to be a really great time. Cantor, you want to say something about the next concert?
It's going to be rockin'. Rockin' the Rooftop. August 18th, Thursday night, right where you're sitting. All your favorite songs from the 1980s and 1990s that involved rock music.
All right.
Will be performed. All of them. If you like Styx, we've got Styx. You like Foreigner, we got Foreigner. You like Bon Jovi, we got Bon Jovi. We got it all. So it's going to be great. A lot of fun.
Lots of fun. And there are many other things going on too. I would encourage you to take a look at the weekly email that comes out with all of the information.
By the way, one thing we didn't announce, tomorrow morning, Torah study and Shabbat morning minyan.
That's right.
Come on by. We're having
Come
fun.
by, please. Learn, study, and
Sing,
pray and
schmooze.
sing.
Talk to Garfinkel.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, and there's a
Is
book
that
swap
on? Oh, yes.
at 2
Oh,
o'clock.
that's tomorrow. Okay. The Sisterhood, I'm sorry, Jen. The Sisterhood book swap is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So let's see. Bring books in good condition and take as many as you like. Please. Yeah, bring books in good condition. Take as many as you like. It's for everybody, sponsored by the Sisterhood. Okay. So I think it is time now for our Kiddush and Motzi, right?
Sounds good, yeah.
Okay, so you know what I forgot to ask in the last couple of weeks that I was here? Is it a custom for us to stand or remain seated during the Kiddush? Oh, all right, we're Kiddush pluralists.
Well, since Kiddush usually falls on Shabbat.
Oh, all right, well, in that case, let's stand. Thank you.
ויהי ערב בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ, וכל צבאם, ויכול אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות סברי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה וראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
All right.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Oh, we're closing. What are we closing with?
We'll close with greet your neighbors and wish them Shabbat Shalom as we close with the last paragraph of Adon Olam. בידו אב כדרוכי בעת תישן ויעירה ועם רוחי גהבייתי אדוני לי ולא אירא ועם רוחי גהבייתי אדוני לי ולא אירא. My soul I give to you, my spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Beyado av kidruchi, beyeti shan beyaila, beim ruchi geviyati. Adonai li velo ira, ve'im ruchi geviyati. Adonai li velo ira.
major, so I was wondering if it was a different one.
No, it's just me schlepping.
Is there a Beado in E major that I should know of?
That's right. It goes something like this.
I was making fun of me.
But in the middle of the service, I looked up at your head and I cracked up and I said, it's a watermelon yarmulke.
אבטיח, אבטיח, שקל וחצי, אבטיח.
Those are the prices. That's in the show, yes.
שקל וחצי.
Thank you.
חלק אבטיח.
אני הולך. Remember that? Whenever they're selling something on the beach, it's like, שקל וחצי, אני הולך. I'm going. No, I'm gonna,
Oh, I was trying to figure out. So the guy is saying that.
exactly. אני הולך.
I'm going. I'm thinking about in the shuk in Yerushalayim.
Yeah, I was making the connection to the beach.
It's always like, one guy's selling for a shekel and a half. The guy was like, shekel, avatiyach, and